by college football, a sport that's full of competition, tradition, and hot takes. Wait, what was that last one? The hot take. Hot takes are opinions by very opinionated college football fans pretty much saying very outrageous things that could happen, but may very well not happen during the season. And I have such a post that is going to gather those together. I have posted this to pretty much tell everyone to give me their hottest takes of the 2022 college football season, and I'll make a video. So that's pretty much what we're going to be doing today, is making that video. Let's see where I rank you all of y'all's hot takes. By Houston Harris. Florida will suck as usual. Well, that's sort of subjective, Houston. With Florida, honestly, I'm going to interpret your hot take as you saying that they suck, like they will have a below 500 record. And Florida has only had 2 below 500 records since 2016. So I get where you're coming from, but yeah. They have a pretty difficult schedule. They play Utah at home. They play Georgia, of course, LSU, Tennessee, Kentucky. They have A&M coming in from the West. And if they lost all them, they would be at 6 losses. And South Carolina could go either way if it's like that at that point. Florida State could as well. But if you've seen my Florida preview prediction, you would know that I don't have them at anything below 5 losses. I'm going to give this one an 8. He says, Auburn finishes last in the SEC West. Well, let's look at this. The SEC West next year should be a very competitive conference, to say the least. If anyone's going to fight Auburn for that last spot, in my opinion, it's probably going to be LSU. Both have very difficult schedules. Auburn plays Penn State at home along with their SEC West schedule. They get Georgia out of the East. I forget who else they get out of the East. LSU, they play Florida State in the non-con, and they get Florida and Tennessee out of the East along with their SEC West schedule. So it's possible. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 10 on the hot take scale. Next up, we have a very derogatory name, I guess. PP Bandit says, Brock Bowers wins the Mackey Award with 1,000 yards, and Stetson throws for over 3,000 yards. He also said that he threw in the Stetson hot take to kind of make it more of a hot take. Well, let's dive into this one. Last season, Stetson Bennett had almost 3,000 yards in 15 games. Well, 15 with an asterisk. He played he started in 13 of them. Actually, no, he started in 12 of them. He played in 13 or 14 of them. So that kind of gave into it. But a full 13 to 15 game schedule for Georgia, I could see him eclipsing that in Todd Monken's offense. Now, the Brock Bowers one. The one thing with that is Brock Bowers is in a tight end room with 3 other 5-star worthy players in Darnell Washington, Eric Gilbert, and Oscar Delp. It's going to be difficult with fighting for reps with them, the wide receivers, and the running backs, and even Stetson himself. It's going to be difficult. I gave this one a 7 out of 10 just because of the Brock Bowers one. He's going to be in the Mackey Award watch. He's going to make some crazy catches, but it's going to be difficult. Next up, Houston Harris is back. You have This one says, Ohio State is the only Big Ten team to get to 10 wins. Well, let's dive into this one as well. Right now, I see that there's 3 Big Ten teams that could possibly get to 10 wins. That's Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State for this year. If you've seen my ratings, you'll know. If you've seen my preview and predictions, you would know I only have 2 teams in the Big Ten with 10 or more wins, and that's Ohio State and Michigan. However, I have Penn State having 9. This is going to be difficult. Michigan, out of their Ohio State and Michigan State losses, I could see them lose to Penn State maybe, but that would put Penn State to 10 wins. I got this one at a 7. It's going to be pretty difficult to have only one Big Ten team with 10 wins. Same if you had said this with the SEC, but I digress. Next up, our old friend PP Bandit's back. And he says Nebraska wins either less than 4 games or more than 8 games. Scott Frost, this is his 3rd or 4th year, I believe. He has consistently won, he's consistently won less than 6 games every year. He has a lot of pieces coming in, including Casey Thompson coming from Texas. And if he does not get bowl eligible at least this year, he's gone. Now, you kind of gave this a lot of leeway. I have Nebraska going on the higher end of this hot take, going 8-4. So I gave this a 4 out of 10 rating. I could see them winning less than 4 games or 8 or more games, but I could also see them being in between that margin. Next up, we have a newcomer. Dog Production says Georgia runs it back in 2022. Well, that's a hot take for sure. Georgia, coming into this year, loses 15 players on defense, I believe. Either 15 players on defense or 15 players overall. I think it's overall. They lost Jermaine Burton to the transfer portal. They lost some secondary backup pieces of the transfer portal. However, they do have a bunch of talent. Kirby Smart just got a contract extension. We lose Dan Lanning, who was a great defensive coordinator. We do have Will Muschamp coming in as well. The only thing that's really standing in our way are Alabama, who is returning a lot of pieces on their offense and defense. Nick Saban is going to have this team hungry for a national championship after losing to Georgia. And Ohio State, who is probably one of the most talented offenses, and their defense is going to be good as well, with Oklahoma State's defensive coordinator coming in. Ryan Day is going to have his guys ready. I have this at an 8 out of 10. It's going to be difficult unless Georgia's offense can take a few steps up this year, or the defense is around the same level, if not just takes about 1 step back from last year, for Georgia to run it back. It's very difficult to win 2 national championships in a row. Since 2000, we've only seen 1 team do it, and that was Alabama from 2011 to 2012. Next, in our final hot take of today, Carter Lindsay says Georgia becomes a pass-heavy offense due to weakness in the run game. Well, Carter, I could see Georgia's pass offense taking a step forward with Stetson Bennett being in his 3rd season under Todd Monken. However, I don't think our defense is going to be that much of a weakness. Now, if you're comparing that to our run games with DeAndre Swift, Nick Chubb, and Sonny Michel, yes, it has been a downgrade from them. But it is pretty consistent. Kendall Milton, if he can stay healthy, is going to come into his own. Kenny McIntosh is a great versatile back. He can catch out of the backfield. He's good with running in between the tackles. He just needs to fix the fumbling problem. And Dejon Edwards really mirrors what Sony Michel was at Georgia before he got starting time back in 2014, in my opinion. So I give this an 8 out of 10. Not because I don't think Georgia can become a pass-heavy offense. It's just because I don't think our run game is going to be stagnant enough to where it becomes a problem. So there you have it. Part 1 of my hot takes of the preseason for 2022. I hope you all enjoyed this. Let me know more hot takes down below, and I'll continue this series. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and go Dogs!